Now we will begin Part A with the first conversation. Number 1.
Hi, Jill. I just saw your roommate coming out of the library. She looks different. Did she get her hair cut or something?
Yeah, 3 days ago, actually. And hardly anyone's noticed.
What does the woman mean? Number 2.
Haven't you heard? The field trip's been called off because of the weather.
But Professor Lang told us just today to meet at 4 in front of the library. Maybe I can still reach him in his office.
What will the man probably do? Number 3.
I'm sorry to hear about your car getting hit in the parking lot. Did you find out if the other driver's insurance will cover it?
Not yet, but I'm looking into it.
What does the woman mean? Number 4.
I think our baseball team's got a good chance of winning the championship this year.
What? Are you kidding? Have you seen them play recently?
What does the man imply? Number 5.
Are you sure this is the right way to the main auditorium? I can't afford to be late.
Oh, that won't happen. We'll be there in no time.
What does the man mean? Number 6.
John, I'd like to talk to you about the way you come late every day. It disrupts the class.
I'm sorry, Professor. I didn't realize I was bothering anyone. I'll watch it from now on.
What will the man probably do? Number 7.
The drama club is holding auditions for their annual play. It's a musical. What do you think?
To tell you the truth, I don't really act or sing, but thanks for thinking of me.
What does the man mean? Number 8.
What are you doing here? I thought you'd be picking your brother up at the airport.
Oh, well, he called last night to say he has the flu.
What does the woman imply? Number 9.
I can't believe my phone bill this month. It's way too high.
Yeah, that happened to me a lot last year. But this year I've just tried to cut back on my long-distance calls.
What does the man imply? Number 10.
What am I going to do? I have a big paper due Monday, but I promised Laura we'd clean the apartment this weekend.
Why don't you just see if Laura will postpone it for a week?
What does the man suggest the woman do? Number 11.
Didn't the committee say it would only take a month for them to complete the report? It took at least twice that long.
Yeah, their estimate was way off the mark.
What does the man mean? Number 12.
There's a group of us going skiing this weekend. You interested?
Not on your life. Don't you remember that trip to Mount Hope when I wound up in a cast for 2 months?
What does the woman imply? Number 13.
Please be sure to put all the lab equipment back on the shelves when you're through with your experiment.
Oh, don't worry. I'm always very careful about that.
What does the woman mean? Number 14.
Thanks for picking up those groceries for me. How much do I owe you?
We're even. You paid for the concert tickets last week, remember?
What does the man imply? Number 15.
The soccer championships are on right now, on Channel 8.
If you don't mind, I'd like to see the end of this nature program. It should only take another 10 minutes or so.
What will the man probably do? Number 16.
Why did I ever agree to work on the school newspaper the same semester I'm taking 5 classes?
That's some load. You've got your hands full, all right.
What does the woman mean? Number 17.
I'm trying to find someone to come with me to the new sculpture exhibit at the Art Museum on Saturday.
I'm not too crazy about art myself, but what about Mary? She's taking an art history course and seems to be enjoying it.
What does the woman suggest the man do? Number 18.
You know, if you closed your windows all the way during this cold weather, your electric bills wouldn't be so high.
Sure, but my housemate will never agree to that.
What does the man mean? Number 19.
Gee, if it keeps raining like this, they'll probably cancel the play tonight.
Yeah, too bad they can't just move to an indoor stage.
What can be inferred from the conversation? Number 20.
Hi, Susan. If you're not doing anything for dinner tonight, a bunch of us are going to that new Italian restaurant in town.
Well, I am in the mood for some spaghetti, and I've heard the food there is not bad.
What does the woman imply? Go on to the next page. Number 21.
There. The room looks really great now that we finally got the furniture. Aren't you glad we made it to the clearance sale?
I still can't get over the huge discounts we got.
What does the woman mean? Number 22.
I've got to hurry home. My favorite television show comes on in a few minutes.
Don't you have anything better to do?
What does the woman imply? Number 23.
My car broke down and I've got a doctor's appointment on the other side of town.
It's lucky you ran into me then. I can give you a ride on my way to work.
What does the man offer to do? Number 24.
This is the second time this month that my boss has asked me to work extra hours. I'm glad to get a bigger paycheck, but I just don't want her to give me such a heavy schedule.
Better watch your step. A lot of people would like to trade places with you.
What does the woman imply the man should do? Number 25.
I don't know what I could have done to make Bob so mad at me.
Me neither, but he's likely to stay that way until you say you're sorry.
What does the woman mean? Number 26.
Hey, Mike, I hear you and Pete found a new place.
Yeah, the apartment's pretty nice, but after living there a couple of months, I'm wondering if I can afford to stay in it.
What does the man imply? Number 27.
This mirror is the perfect size for our bathroom, and it's half off.
We won't have time to hang it today. It'll still be here next week.
What will the women probably do? Number 28.
Please tell me I haven't missed the deadline for tuition payment.
I'm afraid you're about a week late.
What does the woman mean? Number 29.
I pretty much decided I want to play on the soccer team next semester.
You're certainly good enough. But, well, weren't you just telling me about how you really need to concentrate on improving your grades next semester?
What does the woman imply? Number 30.
I find Dr. Langston's style of lecturing so tedious.
Isn't it? And I've got a short attention span.
What does the man mean? This is the end of Part A. Go on to the next page. Now read along as the directions for Part B are being read. The test continues on Side 2. Part B. Directions. In this part of the test, you will hear longer conversations. After each conversation, you will hear several questions. The conversations and questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers in your test book and choose the best answer. Then, on your answer sheet, find the number of the question and fill in the space that corresponds to the letter of the answer you have chosen. Remember, you are not allowed to take notes or write in your test book. Go on to the next page. Now we will begin Part B with the first conversation. Questions 31 through 35. Listen to 2 students talking.
Hi, Mark. I didn't know you could paint.
Well, I'm just learning. It's for my Studio Art 101 class.
It's pretty good for a beginner.
Oh, thanks, Judy. The instructor really liked my sketches, but she hasn't seen my painting yet.
There seems to be something wrong with it, though.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It doesn't look right to me either.
I think I know. Look here at the sky. It doesn't seem to fit in with the other colors of the painting.
What do you mean? Everyone knows the sky is blue.
Well, that depends. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. At sunset, it can be full of reds and purples. Well, even now. Look up now, Mark. What do you see?
It looks blue to me.
Look again. Do you see a kind of tannish color?
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean.
By adding some tan to your sky, I think you'd get a more accurate picture, and the color will look more natural.
I think I'll try that. Gee, how'd you get to know so much about painting? Have you taken lots of courses?
None, actually. But my father's an artist.
A professional artist?
Oh, yeah. He's shown his stuff in lots of exhibits. Ever since we were kids, he's always talked to us about his work.
I wish we could talk some more, Judy. How about going for a cup of coffee? I'm ready for a break.
I'd love to, but I have to study for a history exam. In fact, I was just on my way to the study group, and I think I'm already late. Maybe tomorrow?
Great. I'll meet you at the Student Center after my class, a little after 3, okay?
Sounds good. Gotta run now.
Bye, Judy.
Number 31. What are the speakers mainly discussing? Number 32. What is the man doing? Number 33. What does the woman suggest the man do? Number 34. How did the woman learn about painting? Number 35. What does the woman plan to do next? Questions 36 through 39. Listen to a conversation between 2 students. They are discussing material from a United States history class.
Hey there, Teresa. Thanks for agreeing to help me review all this history material.
No problem, Bob. So, do you want to start with the stuff you missed yesterday? The, part about urban problems in the colonial period?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Well, when the British were building cities in their American colonies, they had to figure out how to make these cities run smoothly, right? Like, take traffic, for instance.
Traffic? They had traffic back then?
Well, not the same kind of traffic cities have today. Back in the 18th century, there weren't any automobiles like there are now, but there were other vehicles like coaches and carts. You know, the kind that had to be pulled along by horses, say. Only a few people could afford to have their own coaches then, but there were more and more public coaches. And carts, they were a big problem because cart drivers usually overloaded their carts, And these oversized, clumsy carts would slow down the traffic. And when you add to that all the farm animals...
Farm animals? In the cities?
Lots of them. Cattle, pigs, and other livestock roamed the streets, and they really caused trouble. Although the pigs at least had a good reason for being there.
They did?
Yeah. The townspeople used pigs to clean up the garbage that was thrown into the streets. But then the pigs interfered with traffic.
So what did the colonists do?
Well, they passed traffic laws, like one that said if your animals were found wandering the streets, they could be seized. Of course, people who owned pigs didn't want to keep them penned up because the pigs were so good at cleaning up the streets.
Sounds like a good idea, letting them clean up the garbage. But I can see how pigs lying around in the streets could really slow down the traffic.
Number 36. What is the main topic of the conversation? Number 37. According to the conversation, how did colonists try to make traveling in cities easier? Number 38. Why were carts considered a problem in colonial towns? Number 39. According to the conversation, what did colonial townspeople do to clean their streets? This is the end of Part B. Go on to the next page. Now read along as the directions for Part C are being read. Part C. Directions. In this part of the test, you will hear several short talks. After each talk, you will hear some questions. The talks and the questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers in your test book and choose the best answer. Then, on your answer sheet, find the number of the question and fill in the space that corresponds to the letter of the answer you have chosen. Here is an example. On the recording you hear, "Listen to an instructor talk to his class about a television program."
I'd like to tell you about an interesting TV program that'll be shown this coming Thursday. It'll be on from 9 to 10 p.m. on Channel 4. It's part of a series called Mysteries of Human Biology. The subject of the program is the human brain, how it functions and how it can malfunction. Topics that will be covered are dreams, memory, and depression. These topics are illustrated with outstanding computer animation that makes the explanations easy to follow. Make an effort to see this show. Since we've been studying the nervous system in class, I know you'll find it very helpful.
Now listen to a sample question. What is the main purpose of the program? In your test book, you read, A. To demonstrate the latest use of computer graphics. B. To discuss the possibility of an economic depression. C. To explain the workings of the brain. D. To dramatize a famous mystery story. The best answer to the question, "What is the main purpose of the program?" is C. To explain the workings of the brain. Therefore, the correct choice is C. Now listen to another sample question. Why does the speaker recommend watching the program? In your test book, you read, A. It is required of all science majors. B. It will never be shown again. C. It can help viewers improve their memory skills. D. It will help with coursework. The best answer to the question, why does the speaker recommend watching the program, is D. It will help with coursework. Therefore, the correct choice is D. Remember, you are not allowed to take notes or write in your test book. Go on to the next page. Now we will begin Part C with the first talk. Questions 40 through 43. Listen to part of a talk in a geography class.
Not long ago, some of you may have read about a team of mountain climbing scientists who helped to recalculate the elevation of the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. Of course, the elevation of Mount Everest was determined many years ago using traditional surveying methods. But these scientists wanted to make a more precise measurement using a new method that takes advantage of recent advances in technology. It's called the Global Positioning System. The Global Positioning System uses 24 satellites that circle the Earth. Each of these satellites is constantly sending out signals, and each signal contains important information that can be used to determine the longitude, latitude, and elevation of any point on the Earth's surface. Well, in order to use this system to calculate Mount Everest's elevation, scientists needed to put a special receiver on its summit to receive signals from the satellites. The problem with this was that, in the past, the receivers were much too heavy for climbers to carry. But now these receivers have been reduced to about the size and weight of a handheld telephone, so climbers were able to take a receiver to the top of Everest and, from there, to access the satellite system signals that would allow them to determine the precise elevation. And it turns out that the famous peak is actually a few feet higher than was previously thought.
Number 40. What is the talk mainly about? Number 41. Why does the speaker mention a handheld telephone? Number 42. According to the talk, what probably contributed most to the success of the new study of Mount Everest? Number 43. In the study described, how were satellite signals used? Questions 44 through 46. Listen to part of a lecture given by a biology professor.
Human populations near the equator have evolved dark skin over many generations because of exposure to the fierce rays of the sun. A similar phenomenon has also occurred in other parts of the animal kingdom. The African grass mouse is a good example. Most mice are nocturnal, but the African grass mouse is active during daylight hours. This means that it spends its days searching for food in the semi-dry bush and scrub habitats of eastern and southern Africa. Its fur is striped like a chipmunk's, which helps it blend in with its environment. Because it spends a lot of time in the intense tropical sun, the grass mouse has also evolved two separate safeguards against the sun's ultraviolet radiation. First, like the populations of humans in this region of the world, the skin of the grass mouse contains lots of melanin, or dark pigment. Second, and quite unusual, this mouse has a layer of melanin-pigmented tissue between its skull and skin. This unique cap provides an extra measure of protection for the grass mouse and three other types of African mouse-like rodents that are active during the day. The only other species scientists have identified with the same sort of skull adaptation is the white tent-making bat of the Central American tropics. Although these bats sleep during the day, they do so curled up with their heads exposed to the sun.
Number 44. What is the speaker mainly discussing? Number 45. What is unusual about the head of the African grass mouse? Number 46. Why do white tent-making bats need protection from the sun's rays? Questions 47 through 50. Listen to part of a talk in a political science class.
We're going to start today talking about congressional aides. That is, the people who work for our congressional representatives, both in Washington and in the representatives' local districts. It used to be that members of Congress had a relatively small staff of people working for them, and the role of these people wasn't of primary importance. But now there are thousands of congressional aides, and they've profoundly affected the way the whole government works. Congressional aides work in two different locations. One in the congressional representatives' local offices, the districts from which they were elected, and two in Washington. Staff in the local offices help members of Congress stay in touch with citizens in their districts. These citizens can bring problems in person or by mail or phone. This personal connection between the aides and the local people can be helpful when the next election comes around. People remember the help they get from the office of their local congressional representative. But as you know, members of Congress have to spend most of their time in Washington taking care of their legislative duties. Over 6,000 new laws are introduced in Congress each session. Without help, representatives would have trouble keeping up with the proposed laws that directly affect their districts. So that's why the congressional aides play a major role in Washington. They keep their bosses informed about pending legislation, organize hearings, and just keep their local congressional representatives up to date and informed on what's going on in other parts of Congress. Now, another thing congressional aides do is to help develop ideas for laws that their bosses can eventually propose to Congress. This can be called the staff's entrepreneurial function, a bit like a business executive trying to find out what products are most popular. Congressional aides promote or encourage laws they think will be popular with the public. You've also got other employees that work for the whole Congress, not just for individual members. We'll talk about these people next.
Number 47. What is the talk mainly about? Number 48. According to the professor, what do congressional aides at local offices mainly do? Number 49. Why does the professor mention the number of proposed laws introduced in Congress? Number 50. What is the entrepreneurial function of congressional staff members? This is the end of Section 1, Listening Comprehension. Stop work on Section 1. This is a reminder. At the end of the test, the supervisor will collect all of the test books. You may not leave until all of the test books have been collected.